Hello, gorgeous goddess, and welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Rochelle, and this is Healing Twin Flames with Empowerment Experiences, where we talk about twin flames, awakening, ascension, self-love, mindset, manifestation, and all such tools and paths and resources and techniques and topics that assist us in looking for and finding our power all along that which is this twin flame self-love empowerment journey. And it very, very much is a self-love empowerment journey, goddess. The only way to come into union with our twin is through coming home to union within, and that is the exact thing that makes it a self-love empowerment journey. There is no such thing as coincidence, and I was already a self-love empowerment coach when I discovered I was also on a twin flame journey, and I can tell you for sure that it is a self-love empowerment journey on steroids, very much so. The challenge of really calling back your power from your counterparts in the confines of what 3D relationships and 3D love has been described to be. It is so challenging to be rewriting those templates for humanity, because that means we've got to dive into the very core of who we thought we were, to discover that it's not at all who and what we are. There's so much more to each and every one of us. There's so much more to this twin flame connection. And all of that begins inside each and every one of us. I never imagined that when I started my self-love empowerment journey and then was guided to shift into being a self-love empowerment coach to guide other goddesses, I didn't even believe in twin flames. I did not believe in the concept. I'd heard about it in passing, but I was not receptive to it. And the one thing that did come to me in the beginning was a mention about you being your twin flame. And so I thought, oh, see, well, it's just poppycock. There's, well, then I met mine, and it was a connection unlike anything I had experienced in my entire life. And I've had a lot of connections, you could say, in my life. I mean, I am, after all, a former pimped out, drug addicted prostitute. So I have a little bit of a history when it comes to men and relationships and those sorts of interactions. It's a challenging journey. And right now, I see so many goddesses who are finding themselves so hyper-focused on what their counterpart is doing or not doing. And that is creating such a detriment for themselves. And how do I know this? From my own personal experience. Because you see, shortly after I met my counterpart in Goa, India, I fell into all of the ego traps, and so did he. All of our shit got fully activated, and triggers and traumas and attachments and bullshit beliefs and stories about ourselves and each other and our relationship. All these things that presented themselves so that we could shift them. We could really see it for what they were and how disempowering they were. Yet I get what it is to get your foot stuck in a pothole, or a few of them. It seems as though you pull your foot out and you take another step and boom, there's another fucking pothole, right, on this journey. And you're left sitting there struggling and wailing and kicking and fighting and swinging and just, asking for it to stop. But in this moment, what I'm actually seeing are those those finger locks, the little woven toys that you can, like carnival toy, where you put your fingers in both ends and then you try to pull your finger out straight and it just locks them in tighter. Whereas there's just a simple solution, and that's it, is we have such simple solutions to these struggle spaces where we find ourselves, but what we end up doing is we panic and we allow that anger and frustration and overwhelm to get the best of us, so we just continue flailing there on the ground, unable to move, unable to break free of this trap that we've found ourselves to be in, without recognizing that we are the ones perpetuating that trap. We are the ones that are keeping ourselves stuck in that pothole. We are the ones that are trying to pull our fingers out of something that it's not working the way we're doing it, yet we continue to keep trying it that way. When in truth, it's actually time to do something different. That's the only way you're gonna get a different result, is by doing something different. And the biggest thing is to allow yourself to step out of that comfort zone and do something different. Because when you can recognize that what you've been doing isn't working, well, that is the definition of insanity, right? Is to keep doing the same thing but expecting a different result. No, if you want a different result, you've got to do something different. And that's why with my mentorship group, there are so many tools and techniques, practices, resources that I have at my disposal in that closed container. It's absolutely incredible. You're guaranteed to experience massive shifts. You're guaranteed to, when you put these things into practice, when you make these shifts, then you're guaranteed that things shift and you start to get different results. That is my intention. I would not be here where I am, of course not, if I had continued doing the same thing and expecting something different. My counterpart and I wouldn't be in open communication, shifting through and closing out timelines and breaking cycles and patterns to be where we are. Are we in full union? Not fully. We are gratefully aligned with that, getting more and more in that alignment, because it's very challenging right now in this world. This physical realm says I cannot go to India and he cannot come here to America. And so that is very, very much the elephant in the room for us. And we just kind of don't have much choice, it seems, but to just sit and let the elephant sit there and make a lot of ruckus and taunt us, so to speak. That's the challenge of being able to look for and find your power where it is, rather than focusing on something that we cannot control and continuing to perpetuate that struggle, that feel of feeling disempowered, of feeling trapped, because we're not trapped. There are other areas within ourselves that we need to be giving attention to, because those things need to be cleaned up to be fully aligned with that union, to have a successful and high vibrational and true harmonious physical union with each other. We've got to do all that energetic work, and that is exactly where we are in the collective right now, Goddess, is in that space of looking at why separation persists. It's because the resistance within you is persistent. What are you resisting shifting? What are you resisting letting go of? What new things are you actually a little more resistant to trying than what you thought you might have been? What's holding you back truly from stepping out of your comfort zone and into the great unknown and really truly spreading your wings to fly? That's very much what feels to be this, let me get me some cedar wood right now here. Oh my goodness, very much feels to be the energy in this collective is that resistance. And it's time that you really get out of your own way. And this is a continuing theme in the collective, because allowing is the key. If you want your twin flame to return, you want him to come back and be in a certain state of being, you must shift into that state of being first. That must be your point of attraction, goddess, which means what resistance do you have that's keeping you from shifting into that state of being? Because even I have been experiencing similar things in my own journey of holding on to things that really no longer serve, and continuing to focus on the no's and scream at what I don't want rather than saying yes to what I do. That's that pivot. The goddesses in my free group, my Rise and Thrive tribe on Telegram, are talking a lot about how they are so focused, so hyper-focused on their counterpart, and how do I shift that? How do I distract myself? Well, it's more than just distracting yourself. It's actually walking through the fucking fire and healing all of these things that are being presented to you right now, while at the same time practicing the pivot. Keeping focused on what the outcome is that you desire, rather than focusing on what has been or what is, because what is already done. What are you creating? And so for this Twin Flame Tuesday, we are really going to look at the connection and really ask, what am I supposed to be doing? What can I do to really truly feel more empowered where I am right now in my journey? And at whatever time this message finds you, it is divine timing. These readings have no specific time limit. Everything is happening right now in this moment. And so when this message finds you, it is divinely timed. And there's obviously something that you are to receive from it, or it would not have found. So let's find out, what exactly do we need to know in this time as to the heaviness, the feeling so focused on our counterparts that we're actually completely bypassing ourselves. Well, there you go. Taking that time to yourself to really disconnect, to reconnect, to disconnect from your social media, your devices, because there's a lot of temptation that I see in the collective for the goddesses to be reaching out to their DMs, especially when they are feeling as though he's drifting away. There's distance, feeling like distance is expanding between you. But that's an illusion. That's something that you are being asked to let go of that control. That's the grip that you have that is putting that resistance, is that you are continuing to focus on them not being here, them not talking to you, not texting you, it not working out how you want. It's all the no's, all the not. Well, that not, put a K in front of that. That's what you're creating, knots. There's all these little knots in what you're making here, what you're creating. So it's like well, isn't that synchronistic? Of course, where I recently started a crochet project. My chair over there, my office chair, needs a cover, and so I'm crocheting one. And as you're creating this, you don't want all of your yarn being all in knots, because then it's not going to flow. It's not going to create a smooth pattern. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be very, very challenging to get the hook and the yarn to flow through all the loops. It's not going to come out at all how you want it to, and again, you're going to experience quite a bit of struggle. So stop putting knots in your yarn, okay? Oftentimes, the most simplest and actually easiest solution is to just throw up your hands and say, fuck it. Chuck it in the fuck it bucket. Or as I also like to say, 2 teardrops in a bucket, fuck it. Let go, bawl your eyes out, release that energy that has been built up inside of you that makes you want to reach out to him and chase him, because that energy is making him go further away, goddess. The more you chase him, the more he runs, because in reality, and I use the word reality in quotations here, in reality, you chasing him, who you perceive to be running from you, is actually you running from yourself. Rather than sitting in your shit and doing whatever breath work, whatever meditation, journaling, EFT, whatever tools and techniques that you need for you to actually process through this shit right now so you can shift, because it's the only way you're going to shift is if you allow yourself to process through it. If you do not allow yourself to process through this shit, then you will not shift, and you will just continue to stay with your feet stuck in those potholes, perpetuating your own struggle and suffering. We do it to ourselves, goddess. We do it to ourselves. Pain is guaranteed. Suffering is optional. Suffering is what's optional. And we suffer when we continue to hold on to something from our past, or something that we perceive needs to be a certain way. That in truth is one of the greatest challenges with my counterpart, is that I got to India in less than 3 months. Because I know to trust and surrender and follow my inspired thoughts and my inspired actions. And it wasn't just me at all. It was taking the guidance from the universe. That's how it happened so quickly. Well, he has not made it to America because he wants to do it his way. If it doesn't look exactly how he thinks it needs to look, then he doesn't want to do it. He does not trust the process yet, which just shows for me that I need to work on trusting it a little bit more. In fact, that was mentioned today. My I trust, I surrender, I say yes mantra is one of my greatest mantras in my journey, because it's so easy for me to fall back into the, oh my God, do I trust? Oh my God, I'm holding on to this, I need to control, and oh, I'm saying no. You know, it's interesting how if you really look at what mantras you are most drawn to, it's because you need those the most. And I trust, I surrender, I say yes is definitely one of those for me, right? But that is what I'm grateful to be able to see, is it's right in front of our faces. We are the ones who complicate this, goddess. We are. So taking this time to disconnect from the world is going to calm all of that external chaos. All of it. If your house ain't burning down and you don't literally, if it's not a life or death for you to go running right this second, then you can shut off the world right now, especially shut off that television. Stop watching TV. Television programming. It's in the words. It's right in front of your face. All right. So I really, really, truly encourage you to take some time to yourself. And this card has come up several times because with what's to come, you are really, really being asked to know your truth. That is those words. I just heard those words. Know your truth. Know the truth of who you are, what you stand for, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that is so true. And you'll be so easily manipulated. And as a result, you'll end up again with your foot in those potholes, perpetuating your own struggle because you didn't have a clear vision. You didn't have a clear awareness of who you are, what excites you, what lifts you up. Tuning into that intuition. That's what it is. Listening to you and who you are. Because only you know who you are, Goddess. And that's the challenge with these beliefs that we have in our minds. I assure you that if you believe you're not good enough, things will never work out, that you don't deserve it, that even things like money is the root of all evil, I have to work so hard for so little, all of those things are beliefs that you adopted when you were very, very young. Your core beliefs are actually in place by the time you're 5 years old. Did you know that? And then from there forward, we perpetuate these subconscious beliefs throughout our lifetimes. We attract more experiences into our realm of experience that affirm those beliefs, and so they become more and more and more solidified. Well, you reframe your beliefs, you create new beliefs, you shift your old ones into new ones, and you watch. Your reality will shift. You want to continue to hold on to stories and beliefs about yourself or your counterpart. That is the very thing that is keeping you stuck in that trap. That is the very thing that is keeping you stuck in that suffering space. Rather than letting go of how you think it needs to look, allowing it to be the way it is, which in turn is going to release all of this death grip on, again, the control that you really don't have. And then that's what's going to open the flow for that which you truly know about yourself, that which you truly are, what really lights you up. Because you're not so focused on what you think you want, because that's ego attachment versus soul connection. And a twin flame connection is very much, as we know, a soul connection. So when you're coming from this place of, oh, I want to text him, what's he doing, what's he up to, that's ego attachment. And you're being asked to shift all of those attachments, to release attachment, because you are connected. When you release attachment and you fall back into, you anchor into the knowing that you are connected with your counterpart, everything flows. You no longer feel that suffering, that struggle. You finally feel as though things are getting better in your life. Right now, there's just, I just have a total blank in my mind after that. Such a trip. Let go of the control, Goddess. Because when you do, that creates space for the magic to reveal itself. For the magic within you, the magic in this realm, to be truly experienced and felt by you. But as long as you are holding on to all of this resistance, that resistance is actually blocks. Blocks to what you desire, blocks to how you'd like it to be. You are magical, Goddess. And it's time that you allow yourself to feel that. There's magic that can happen in a single instant. And I assure you, the more you let go, and this begins at the very foundation of breath work, of really tuning into your body and checking in with yourself and saying, wow, my shoulders are tense. Wow, I'm not really breathing very deeply, am I? Really recognizing the magic of the human body, because that is very much you tuning into magic. Recognize the magic of your thoughts, your energy, of what you are attracting into your experience. That is magic. See, magic is all around, Goddess. But the ego likes to disguise it, likes to lie about it. That's what the ego does, is it lies. It tells you that you will never survive without your counterpart. It tells you that they'll never be back. It tells you that you guys will never be together. It tells you that he doesn't love you. It tells you that nothing's gonna change. It tells you a whole lot of bullshit, BS, belief systems. systems in place of beliefs created that go against you. But here's the thing about beliefs, Goddess, is you can create new ones anytime you desire. You have that power. It's inside you. There are many practices, techniques, tools, resources that are so available to you. There's systems that you can implement so you get the results that you desire. We even go through these in my Empowered with Rochelle mentorship group. It's an ongoing group program where you are assured the shifts as long as you put these things into practice and you check in with accountability in the group, you are guaranteed to create those shifts. But the key question is, are you really truly ready to shift? Are you really truly to recognize that you are the love that you have been looking for? That the love that you long for from your divine counterpart is the same love that is longing for you within yourself. One and the same. And this is why I say that the only way to come into union with your twin is to come home to union within. This means to truly come back home to yourself, to truly love yourself, to see your worth, your value, to respect yourself, to honor yourself, to support yourself, to accept yourself, to focus on yourself, to fill your cup so full that it overflows into those around you, to be fully anchored in your power, illuminating this world and amplifying the love that you are. But that has to begin within. True love begins within, from where it expands outward to envelop, encompass, and embrace those around you. So, it's time for you to get out of your own way, Goddess. Oh my goodness, we have magic and miracles. I assure you, Goddess, miracles and magic are right there, waiting for you to shift. And once you let go of, again, all of this resistance, once you allow someone to help you get your foot unstuck from the pothole that you've been trapped in, magic and miracles abound. But you've got to pivot from everything that you're screaming no at and focus on the yes things. Because what you set your tuner to is exactly what you tune into. So what are you going to start tuning into, Goddess? It's time that you allow yourself to receive the love from yourself, to really be cultivating this relationship with yourself, rather than, again, being so focused on your counterpart. So boom, what is your soul calling you to do? It's calling to you, to come back to you, Goddess. What lights you up? What feels good? What are some hobbies that you can take up? What are some things that you've always wanted to learn or experience? I mean, right now in this day and age with, YouTube or videos so readily available online, you can actually learn oh my goodness. Well, we have a couple cards that here make themselves. Well, there you go. Another one, listen to the whispers of your heart. Tune in to the portal of your heart. This is exactly what is being asked right now, Goddess. And again, the reason this keeps coming up so predominantly in so many of these messages is because it's so interspersed throughout this collective right now is the distraction with the counterpart. When you are supposed to be focusing on yourself. You're supposed to really be looking at what feels good to you, what lights you up. And allowing that the love that you have for your divine counterpart and the love that you yearn for from him to be the very same love that you create and cultivate within yourself for yourself. So, where do you need to have better boundaries? And this boundaries card has been coming up lately with the focus being on boundaries with yourself. Boundaries with yourself. What thoughts do you need to start limiting yourself from thinking and feeding so much, right? Because you're either planting seeds or growing weeds. Do you do daily affirmation stations? Do you journal daily? Do you meditate daily? Do you do EFT tapping, breath work, yoga? Do you work out? How much of a percentage of your day is actually spent focusing on you shifting into a better feeling space? And all of these things that I just listed off are the very things that are definitely going to empower you to do that. Maybe not eat so many cookies, maybe not have so much sugar. I mean, I admit I definitely have a sweet tooth myself where I'm working on having better boundaries with myself. Let's see what we have from the Sacred Forest Oracle here, because I'm very intrigued to hear. We have so much focusing on the heart space, really answering the call from your soul. Because again, the more you yearn for your counterpart is the more that your soul is calling to you. That's why you feel as though he's calling you. It's because remember, twin flames are connected at the soul source. And so as you feel yourself being pulled toward him, it's actually you going, wait a minute, that's my ego attachment. Because in truth, he and I are already connected within myself. So the more I can be coming home to me, the more I'm not only in my power, but the more that he is able to come home to me too. So, what information do we need to, there we go. Do we need to expand on in terms of this tuning into the inner temple? Ooh, strength for sure, because that is where it is. Your strength is inside you, goddesses. We're not talking physical strength. We're talking spiritual strength, emotional strength, mental strength. You working groups of muscles that really haven't been worked like ever. The forgiveness muscle, right? The really truly breathing. The practicing the pivot, doing affirmations. All of that strength is inside of yourself. You've got to be the one to facilitate that transformation. Stop resisting it. Anytime you sit there and go, oh, I should work out. Oh, I should do yoga. Oh, I should do my EFT, or I should journal. And then you choose to do something else that's actually not so supportive of you. That is you resisting the call. That is you ignoring the notifications that are coming from your soul within you. And then what happens is we end up, again, continuing to perpetuate our own states of suffering. Whereas if instead you get crystal clear, and we do all of this in, again, my Empowered with Rochelle mentorship group, through all sorts of journal prompts and activities that I have within this container, where we get crystal clear on who that version of yourself is, and then what you need to do to shift into that version of yourself bit by bit by bit by bit, so you don't overwhelm yourself and self-sabotage from the very beginning. Believe me, been there, done that more than once in my journey. So all of these tools and techniques and practices that I incorporate in my mentorship group are the same things that I have tried and tested and proven true, not just for myself, but for countless clients that have worked with me. And we experience this because we are the ones that facilitate our experience here. We are the ones that facilitate this transformation. You either stay in that icky, gooey, uncertain cocoon, or you say, no, fuck this shit, I'm ready to fly. And you, bit by bit, shift into that version of yourself that is the butterfly. And then you take flight. And you look back going, wow, I can't believe I was actually willing to just stay in that cocoon. Wow, this is interesting. I actually have that feels very odd. That feels very weird. So throat chakra, hello, intriguing. And we have playfulness coming up, which here's the reality of it. Even I am one of those where when I'm in a state of feeling flustered and frustrated, and I get the message that just have fun, just have fun. I'm like, I'm not having fun here. I want it to be that way. And it's like, ooh, control. It's that little ditty that plays in my mind when it's like, well, Rochelle, you're trying to control something that you don't have power over. So where can you find your power? Where can you stop hemorrhaging energy over here, focusing on what you do not have power over? And remember, we do not have power over our counterparts, save for the power we have over ourselves, our state of being, our points of attraction, what our beliefs are. All of those come from within us. Okay? And when you can get off the fucking subject of the things that are creating that struggle, like you're sitting on the ground, remember the pothole analogy. You're sitting on the ground because your foot's stuck, it's sore, you just can't quite seem to get your foot out of it. And here I come along and let's say, hey, let me help you. And you finally decide to let someone else show you a different way to get your foot out of that pothole, and it comes out smooth and easy. But the thing to it is we have to play, we have to have fun with it. You have to let go of it being so serious, of it being so much of a struggle, of holding on to all the things that are so painful. Because when you hold on to that which is painful, that's the thing that's perpetuating the suffering and perpetuating the pain. The pain really is temporary. Suffering is going to last however long you decide to hold on to that pain and continue to relive it by choice. Whereas if you can decide to get off the subject, so when I show up and your foot's in that and you're stressed out, freaked out, and you're not quite ready to trust, so we play a little game. And before you know it, we're laughing and everything's good, and then poof, I magically help your foot out of that pothole, and you're just kind of like, wow. I'm like, well, it was that simple. It was that simple. But when we continue to focus on what isn't working, and we focus on what we do not want, and we focus how life is unfair and our counterpart isn't communicating with us, we're not together, we can't be together, I don't know how it's gonna happen. How is none ya? How is none ya motherfucking business, okay? That's the universe's job. You get clear on what do you want and why do you want it? What version of yourself are you looking to shift into and why? What reality are you looking to experience and why? Not how is it going to happen, right? The only how that is in your hands is how can I allow myself to shift into that? Huh? Play. You let go of the control. You allow yourself to trust the journey. You allow yourself to surrender to the journey, and you allow yourself to say yes to just having fun. You get out of your own way. Get off the subject for a while. And that can be what you can call distracting yourself, or it can simply be, I'm letting go. I'm letting go of all of these thoughts and this heaviness and these emotions that are keeping me perpetuating this struggle. And I'm going to allow myself to have a little bit of fucking fun, because I sure as hell not been having fun. Well, now it's time. Now it's time. I do want the angel numbers here. Let's see what we have. Well, interesting. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just see what we got with that. 3, 4, 5, 6, which is going to be step by step. And I'm literally hearing New Kids on the Block. Step by step. Ooh, baby. Gonna get to you, girl. Okay? Literally, step by step is exactly how you're going to get to the reality that you desire to be experiencing. And that's the thing, is you've got to align yourself. 3, 4, 5, 6 in alignment. You've got to be the one to align yourself with that which you desire in order for what you desire to flow in. It's literally like you're driving on a freeway system, and you have, a triple decker freeway, and what you desire is on the top deck, but you started out driving on deck 1, but you need to get to deck 3, and the only way to get to deck 3 is by shifting what needs shifting, taking these certain routes to get to deck 2 and then to deck 3, and boom, you meet your manifestation on that freeway. If you are not on that freeway, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna keep driving and driving and driving and wondering, when is it gonna happen? But you've not done what you needed to do to shift to get onto that freeway level. Is that making a little bit of sense there? Let's see here. No. This is intriguing. What's fascinating is, it literally is all of it flow of positive energies. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So that's it. Boom. Flow of positive energies. Literally all the piecemeal things that I was getting off of that. So interesting. And it's simply because I already channeled exactly what you needed to know about 3, 4, 5, 6. Step by step. And that's the thing, is baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Oh my goodness, that is taking me back to when I was misdiagnosed bipolar. I had been on antidepressants, and anti-anxiety meds, which just made it agitated all of it. It made it all exponentially worse. I became more suicidal. My anxiety just went through the roof. Like, I literally had a complete and utter meltdown. And I could not leave my house. My anxiety was so severe. So I literally had to start at the very, very bottom. And one of the very first baby steps I took was exactly that. I would tell myself, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. When you expect yourself to take this giant leap and you're gonna change everything overnight, that is what I mean when I say you're setting yourself up for self-sabotage. When you expect yourself to change everything all at once, to change everything about yourself in one fell swoop, You're going to get so overwhelmed and feel so weighed down and so discouraged that you're going to give up before you even begin. I've done that a few times. When in reality, it's baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Okay? Remember, you are on a perpetual going and growing journey of the soul. Of the soul. It's like they say Rome wasn't built in a day. It wasn't. The pyramids weren't. No. You're a masterpiece in progress, goddess. And you get to be the one that designs that masterpiece of yourself. But the key is you've got to know thyself. You've got to really be able to describe who you are, what you're about, anchor into your truth. Remember, that's today, is know your truth. Tune in to yourself and don't let anybody else tell you who you are or who you are not. Only you get to choose that. And this includes quieting that shit in your mind that comes from others that are not really you. Okay? So that's where we are, goddess. Taking baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, step by step. Loving yourself more and more and more, and letting go of the resistance, letting go of things that you really cannot control. Because the only things you can are what's inside of you. That said, dear sweet goddess, you are interested in learning more about my mentorship group, Empowered with Rochelle Goddess Rising mentorship group, then go check that out at empowermentexperiences.com/EWR. I will put that link also down in the description. And if you're looking for a tribe of just goddesses supporting goddesses for free, you are welcome to come join us on Telegram at the Rise and Thrive Tribe. I will also leave that link down below in the description. That said, thank you so much for joining me for this message here. And I will look to see you for Thursday, Thankful to Thrive Thursday this week. And we will continue to shift bit by bit. Continue to come back home to ourselves. Because that's where the power is. It's in your hands, goddess. To transform, to create whatever reality that you desire. That's what this school, this earth school is about, is harnessing energy. And that means to manipulate the energy from within yourself. You are the catalyst. The power is in your hands because it has always been inside you. Namaste.